Thank you very much, Gretchen, for another week. Mitt Romney edges out Rick Santorum in Iowa by a nose, but now they're heading into the second turn of the primaries, New Hampshire. Get ready. It's time for this week's political horse race. And here with the latest power rankings is the editor of politicalderby.com, Jason Wright. Good morning to you, Jason.
Happy Frippit Friday to you, Ducey.
That's exactly right.
I don't know what that means.
It's O'Reilly's word of the day. All right, let's go ahead. Out to the track we go. And the top three horses are, in this order, Mr. Romney, Mr. Santorum, and Ron Paul on the white horse. Let's start out with Mitt Romney.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly in the lead. I don't know how you can argue otherwise. Had a dominating win in Iowa with either an 8 or a 9 vote margin, depending on who you believe. Really, really good news for him. And I want to talk just quickly when we're looking at Santorum here in the number 2 spot for the first time. Obviously, the highest that the former senator of Pennsylvania has been in the rankings. But I think it's important to look at return on investment in politics. I've been talking about this at politicalderby.com for the last couple of days. You know, in 2008, Mitt Romney spent a fortune, literally, and a lot of time in Iowa, and he lost with 25% of the vote. Here we are 4 years later. He spends very little time and very little money in Iowa until really the last couple of weeks, and he finishes with, drumroll please, 25% of the vote and a win. So if you're looking at his return on investment, if you don't think that Team Romney was giddy on the flight out of Iowa on Wednesday, you're nuts. And if you look at Rick Santorum, this is a guy who, talking again about return on investment, didn't have a lot of money, but he spent what he had in Iowa, and he spent like 2 years there. I mean, seriously, folks, Rick Santorum spent so much time in Iowa, he gets his Oriental trading catalogs there now. You know how tough that is to do? To change your address with them? It's ridiculous. Second place, Rick Santorum.
All right, very good. And Ron Paul in third. Now let's go to the second tier. And leading the pack, you've got Newt Gingrich and then Rick Perry. And for the first time ever on your list, Jon Huntsman in the 6th position.
That's right. Congratulations to former Governor Huntsman. Here he is, the highest he's ever been. Thank you, Michelle Bachmann. Maybe you ought to send her a fruit basket or something. I don't know. Huntsman seeing a little bit of movement in his numbers. I saw a poll yesterday in New Hampshire. Unfortunately, it's the wrong direction. He slipped a couple of points there. The story here, I think, is the interesting comparison shaping up between 2012 and 2008 with the role that Rick Perry could play. Could Rick Perry be the spoiler? I mean, everybody in the universe thought he was dropping out of this race. The coyote that he shot in Texas thought he was dropping out of this race. Here he decides to take the fight to South Carolina. Could he be Huckabee? Could he be the spoiler this time who could prevent Santorum, who this time would be viewed as the challenger? He would be the Romney from 4 years ago. Could Perry siphon enough votes away, continue to keep the far right of the party fractured, and help hand this nomination to Mitt Romney? It's looking that way to us.
And speaking of rate of return on investment, I heard Karl Rove the other night say that all the money that Mr. Perry has spent in Iowa probably wound up, each vote cost him over $450, so not very good. But before you go, I want you to talk about Newt Gingrich, and you say that his speech in Iowa was angry. It reminded a lot of people of that guy from the movie Network.
So true. You know what? Just for fun, I'm glad you asked me about Newt. I forgot all about him. You know, you go to Google, you go on the interweb, and you search for Gingrich or Newt and angry, and I found 10 million results. Folks, this is a real issue for him, and I mean, you were starting to see this narrative in the media a little bit, his anger in general, but mostly driven towards Mitt Romney. But here in the wake of the Iowa caucus, and that speech he gave, which I think he is going to regret, whether he will admit it out loud at parties or not, I think Newt is going to regret that seething tone that he took. And now all we're talking about is angry Newt. That's not good. Tough to win voters when they're perceiving you as always upset at the world.
All right. Always great to have you here on Fox and Friends. He's the founding editor of politicalderby.com. Jason Wright, have a great weekend.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Bud. Thanks. All right, 28 minutes after the top of the hour. I'm throttled. He likes you. He does like me. This Bud's for you.